Hello everyone. This is the last lecture of video series on cellular respiration. In my previous 3-4 videos, I discuss in detail about the concept of cellular respiration, then glycolysis, link reaction and Krebs cycle. Glycolysis is the first stage of the cellular respiration, which is anaerobic reaction in which glucose is break down into two molecules of pyruvates. This glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell, eukaryotic cell. Now the pyruvate which is produced is enter into the link reaction. The link reaction occur inside the inner membrane of the mitochondria, and in the link reaction pyruvate is converted into acetyl CoA by pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, and finally acetyl CoA enter into the Krebs cycle. The Krebs cycle occur inside the mitochondrial matrix, and during the Krebs cycle acetyl CoA is decarboxylated or oxidized in the form of carbon dioxide, while reduced electron carrier are produced like NADH and FADH2. So these three reactions lead to complete breakdown of the glucose and release of the carbon dioxide. So 6 carbon of the glucose are released in the form of carbon dioxide during these three reactions. Now the a reduced electron carrier which is produced during this process like NADH and FADH2 enter into the final stage of the aerobic respiration, that is electron transport chain. This reaction occur in the inner membrane of the mitochondria. Now in this lecture I am going to discuss in detail about the electron transport chain. What are the different proteins which is involved in the process and how they transfer the electron from NADH or FADH to the oxygen. Before starting with the actual reaction, I just want to summarize the electron transport chain in a few words. The reaction occur in the inner membrane of the mitochondria. So if this is the structure of mitochondria, this is the outer membrane of the mitochondria, then this is inner membrane of the mitochondria, and inside the inner membrane number of folds are present, they are cristae. Now the liquid fluid portion of the mitochondria is called as matrix. The electron transport protein which take part in this reaction is present in inner membrane of the mitochondria. So when glycolysis, link reaction and Krebs cycle completed, then the reduced electron carrier NADH and FADH2 enter in the electron transport chain. Both these molecules have reduced form of their coenzyme. That means NADH is produced from NAD while FADH2 is produced from FAD, and they carry a lone pair of electron. Now they will going to give the electron to the electron transport chain complexes. The protein which take part in the electron transport chain are grouped into 4 complex. Okay, so if I zoom in this portion of the mitochondrial membrane, this is outer membrane and this is inner membrane with different type of electron carrier, then it will look like this. Okay, so the first is outer membrane, which is a phospholipid bilayer. We know that the membrane having hydrophilic heads and hydrophobic tail. Okay, this is the outer membrane of the mitochondria, while the lower one, this is inner membrane of the mitochondria. Now the inner membrane have 4 different type of complex that take part in the electron transport chain: complex 1, complex 2, complex 3 and complex 4. These are the protein complexes which will going to transfer electron from a reduced electron carrier towards oxygen. Okay. Now in between these two membrane, intermembrane space is present. Okay. So in between these two membrane, space is present which will going to help in production of the electrochemical gradient. I am going to discuss about this in the later half of the video. Now inside the inner membrane, mitochondrial matrix is present. So before starting with the actual electron transport chain, you should understand the location of the chain. It occur or the reaction occur in the inner membrane of the mitochondria, but the reaction also take help of the outer membrane, intermembrane space and matrix. Okay, so these four structures are involved in the electron transport chain. The reaction start with a complex 1. This is complex number 1. Why we call as a complex? Because it is a group of a protein which contain flavonide or flavin mononucleotide and iron sulfur complexes. So this is a group of a protein, and this complex 1 will going to take electron from NADH. Okay, so NADH will going to oxidize into NAD plus 2H plus, and at the time of oxidation of NAD, the electron is transferred in the complex 1. 2 electron is transferred. Okay, so the complex 1 is responsible for oxidation of NADH. So this complex is called as NADH dehydrogenase complex. Name of the complex itself suggests its work. Actually, this complex involved in oxidation of the NADH, due to which the electron is transferred from NADH to the complex proteins. Okay, now these 2 electrons is transferred by complex 1 to ubiquinone. Okay, ubiquinone Q. Now this is the protein which is responsible for receiving electron from complex 1. Now second complex do the activity of oxidation of FADH. So FADH is another electron carrier which is produced during the cellular respiration. So FADH2 is oxidized into FAD plus H2 in the complex number 2, and it also going to deliver 2 electrons. This complex 2 is a group of a protein which mainly contain FAD or flavin adenine dinucleotide complexes. Now this complex 2 will going to transfer 2 electron to ubiquinone. Okay, that means this is the common protein which is responsible for accepting electron from complex number 1 and complex number 2. Okay, at the time of transferring electron from complex number 1 to ubiquinone, energy is released. We know that initially this electron carry high amount of energy, but when they transfer through the complexes, their energy reduces. Okay, so when this 2 electron is transferred to ubiquinone, complex 1 use the energy of this electron for pumping 4H plus ion from mitochondrial matrix into the intermembrane space. Okay, so 4H plus is pumped from into the intermembrane space by complex number 1 by using energy of NADH oxidation. Now similar action is take place at complex number 2, but complex number 2 do not pump any hydrogen or proton from matrix to intermembrane space. When these electrons from both the complexes are reached to ubiquinone, then complex number 3 come in the action. This complex number 3 is responsible for transferring 2 electrons from this ubiquinone to cytochrome C. That means this complex is present in between these 2 proteins, cytochrome C protein and ubiquinone. And this complex so called as ubiquinone cytochrome C oxidoreductase, because if I am the complex 3, I am taking electron from ubiquinone and transferring to the cytochrome C. That means I am oxidizing ubiquinone and I am reducing cytochrome C. So my name is ubiquinone cytochrome C oxidoreductase. Okay, this is the name of complex number 3. At the time of transferring electron, the heme group which is present in the complex number 3 pump 4H plus from matrix of the mitochondria into the intermembrane space. Okay, that means complex number 1 and complex number 3 at the time of transferring electron responsible for pumping the proton from matrix to the intermembrane space. This complex number 2 only oxidize FADH2, but it is not responsible for pumping the proton. This complex is called as succinate dehydrogenase. Why we call the complex number 2 as a succinate dehydrogenase? Because this is the complex which is responsible for conversion of succinate to fumarate in the Krebs cycle. Okay, so this is the enzyme which is responsible for that particular reaction. So this is all about first, second and third complex. First complex take electron from NADH, second complex from FADH2, while third complex play a role of transferring electron from ubiquinone to cytochrome C. Now this cytochrome C is reduced due to transfer of electron from all these three complexes. Now someone have to take electron from cytochrome C, and that function is played by complex number 4. This complex is also having number of prosthetic group heme. Okay, so when the electron from cytochrome C is transferred through complex number 4, this complex pump 2H plus from matrix to the intermembrane space, and finally the electron is given to molecular oxygen. Okay, instead of writing O, I have written 1/2 O2. This is the atom of oxygen which will going to accept the electron from complex number 4, and due to which the oxygen will going to get negative charge, and then when it combine with H2, it will going to produce H2O. This is metabolic water. Remember that this metabolic water will going to produce in the matrix of mitochondria. So this metabolic water then will be used in the Krebs cycle. Okay, so when electrons are transferred from this reduced electron carrier up to the oxygen, large amount of hydrogens or proton are pumped in the intermembrane space. So the concentration of H plus is increased in the intermembrane space of mitochondria. At the same time, due to transfer of hydrogen, the inner site or the matrix of the mitochondria become negative charged. Okay, so when one side of the membrane have high concentration of proton, while other side have low concentration of proton, an electrochemical gradient is produced. And according to the electrochemical gradient hypothesis, large amount of energy is stored in such type of gradient. Okay, and now this gradient of the hydrogen is responsible for synthesis of ATP in the last stage of the electron transport chain. So now what happened? This hydrogen diffuse from high concentration towards low concentration through a hole which is present in the inner membrane, and that hole is called ATP synthase. This ATP synthase enzyme is responsible for synthesis of ATP. The enzyme uses energy from the hydrogen ions for synthesizing ATP as an energy currency. When hydrogen from intermembrane space return back in the matrix through ATP synthase, the rotor of the ATP synthase start moving, and this ATP synthase having two parts, FO portion and F1 portion. Both these portion are connected by shaft. Okay, so when energy rich hydrogen are transferred from intermembrane space to matrix, due to rotational action, this F1 portion of the ATP synthase take ADP and IP, and by connecting adenosine diphosphate with inorganic phosphate, adenosine triphosphate is produced. That means energy finally is preserved in the high energy bond of adenosine triphosphate. And now this ATP is act as an energy currency in the body. Whenever energy is required for any purpose, it will be given by these ATP molecules. Okay, so due to the formation of electrochemical gradient, this reaction of ATP synthesis occur. This phenomenon is similar with the hydroelectric projects. We know that when we store large quantity of water in the dam, in the hydroelectric project, when the water is fall on the turbine rotate, and due to rotation of the turbine, electricity is generated. Same thing happen here. When this store hydrogen from the intermembrane space fall on this turbine of ATP synthase, it will going to rotate and this will going to produce ATP. This is the example of oxidative phosphorylation. Because energy is produced in the ATP synthase, and in the process electron is accepted by oxygen as a terminal electron acceptor. So this type of ATP generation process is called as oxidative phosphorylation. This process is quite different from the ATP synthesis process which occur in the glycolysis, and that is substrate level phosphorylation. Okay, so this is all about the electron transport chain. 4 complex mainly work in the electron transport chain. Now we are going to focus on how many ATPs is produced from one glucose molecule through electron transport chain. Total 2 NADH is produced during glycolysis from one glucose molecule. Then 2 NADH is produced at the time of conversion of pyruvate to acetyl CoA in link reaction, while Krebs cycle produce 6 NADH. Okay, when acetyl CoA enter in the Krebs cycle, 6 NADH are produced. Then Krebs cycle also produce 2 FADH, 2. Okay, and now this NADH and FADH enter in the electron transport chain, and finally ATP is produced. So 2 plus 2 plus 6, total 10 NADH enter. 10 NADH enter in the electron transport chain, and we know that 1 NADH produce 3 ATP. So into 3, 30 ATP is produced by oxidation of NADH. At the same time, 2 FADH2 also enter in the process. 1 FADH2 produce 2 ATP. So 2 FADH2 produce 4 ATP. So 30 plus 4, 34 ATPs are produced by the oxidation of reduced electron carrier in electron transport chain. At the same time, glycolysis produce 2 ATP by substrate level phosphorylation, while Krebs reaction also produce 2 ATP by same process. So 2 plus 2, 4. So 34 ATP by electron transport chain and 4 ATP by substrate level phosphorylation. So total 38 ATP is produced during the cellular respiration from single glucose molecule. Okay, so we have discussed in detail about glycolysis, link reaction, Krebs cycle and electron transport chain in this series of cellular respiration videos. Thank you.